We are on the doorstep of fall, severe weather season, and you can feel the tension in the atmosphere. The Storm Predictions Center's Day 6th Outlook makes that crystal clear. A 15% risk zone for severe weather stretches from northeast Texas all the way into central Illinois on Saturday, October 18th. And this threat includes every hazard on the table: large hail, destructive winds, and tornadoes. So what's fueling this dangerous setup? A massive storm system is gearing up to slam into the West Coast, crash through California, surge over the Rockies, and explode into the plains. As this deep upper-level trough digs across the Rockies, it's going to collide with a surge of Roach Gulf moisture flowing northward. At the same time, cold Canadian air will plunge south behind the trough, while powerful upper-level winds and wind shear create the perfect recipe for multiple days of strong to severe thunderstorms from the Central Plains to the mid-Mississippi River Valley. But the day to watch most closely? October 18th. That's when everything lines up perfectly. Gulf moisture, upper-level energy, wind shear, and instability, forming a volatile environment primed for significant severe weather. Other days may bring strong storms too, but Saturday the 18th currently shows the highest potential for tornado-producing supercells and intense thunderstorms. It has been a long time since we've seen a trough this strong on the models. For weeks we've been stuck under relentless ridging. But now that's finally breaking, and the atmosphere is about to wake up. Just look at the dew points. They're off the charts. On October 18th, we could see very high humidity values stretching from Arkansas into the Mississippi River Valley. Cities like Memphis, Little Rock, and St. Louis are solidly in the threat zone if current trends continue. Storms are expected to ignite in the afternoon, intensify through the evening, and may continue well into the overnight hours. That cold front pushing east could then trigger more storms across Kentucky, Middle Tennessee, Alabama, and Georgia as the system marches eastward. But we'll get more clarity as we get closer. This is shaping up to be our next major severe weather outbreak, and we'll be providing daily updates as new data comes in, along with live coverage as these storms develop on Friday and Saturday. But it all begins with one powerful system, the one crashing into California right now. Even Los Angeles is under a tornado threat, something you almost never hear. On Tuesday, October 14th, parts of Southern California are under a marginal risk, level 1, for severe weather, including a 2% tornado risk. Yes, tornadoes in Los Angeles, from Santa Barbara down past Long Beach, and inland toward Riverside, Palmdale, and Santa Clarita. Localized rotating storms may form on the southeastern side of a strong, low-pressure system moving inland. With sufficient wind shear and embedded rotating updrafts, even mini supercells could briefly spin up tornadoes. The threat may be limited, but it is real, and Southern California needs to pay attention. And this is just the beginning. This same system will go on to impact the entire United States. Now, let's shift back into the forecast, because the weather is about to get extremely active. Beyond the low-topped supercell threat we discussed earlier, excessive rainfall is going to be a major concern. Today, we already have a flood risk stretching from Phoenix to Tucson and into southwestern Colorado. But by tomorrow, that same corridor of heavy rain shifts back toward Southern California, especially north of Los Angeles, near Lancaster and Victorville. We are expecting 2 to 3 inches of rain in a short window, and that will trigger serious flash flooding. The biggest danger zones? Recent wildfire burn scars. If 1 to 4 inches of rain falls in one of these areas, it will unleash dangerous debris flows, turning hillsides into rivers of mud and rock. If you live near a burn scar or flood-prone area in Southern California, now is the time to be hyper-aware of rapidly changing weather conditions. Flash flooding and tornadoes may both be on the table over the next 48 hours. This will be the most active weather Southern California has seen in months. So Los Angeles, stay alert. I'll be here giving you continuous updates. Another remarkable element of this storm system is its split personality. It will produce tornadoes in one region while delivering feet of snow in another. Up in the Sierra Nevada, our first major winter storm of the season is taking shape. By tomorrow, expect intense snowfall rates, whiteout conditions, and full-on blizzard impacts at higher elevations. While this isn't technically an atmospheric river, this compact storm will dump multiple feet of snow in a short period of time. This is rare for October. This storm will feel more like midwinter than early fall. Some peak elevations in the Sierra could wind up with 30 inches or more of snow. The Weather Prediction Center is already warning of major to extreme impacts. Travel on Interstate 80, especially over Donner Summit, will be extremely hazardous or completely shut down. If you're in California's mountain regions, brace yourselves now. This storm will be significant. In the tropics, Tropical Storm Lorenzo has formed in the Atlantic, but this one will be a fish storm, curving well east of Bermuda, with no threat to land. The Caribbean and Gulf of Mexico remain quiet for now, with no immediate tropical threats. Looking ahead, we're settling into a classic severe weather pattern. Warmer than normal air continues dominating the east, while persistent cold air grips the west. When we enter this battle of the air masses in fall or spring, it almost always triggers multiple rounds of severe storms. And yes, that includes tornadoes. We're officially entering tornado mode this fall. This first storm is just the opening shot. More systems will follow through the plains and Ohio Valley, one after another. So let's treat this as a wake-up call, because after a quiet stretch, the atmosphere is about to get aggressive again. The West will stay locked into below-average temperatures, so prepare accordingly. The problem is testability. Sobolos leave no light. You'd need to detect gravitational side effects, tiny orbital anomalies in distant objects, requiring exquisite astrometry over decades. Frequency is another issue. If subhalos often traverse the Oort, we'd expect periodic bursts of comets in historical records. We don't see clean periodicity, more stochastic than cyclic. That doesn't kill the idea, but it lowers its prior. Rogue planets are another dark perturber, planet mass bodies without a star. The galaxy may be teeming with them. A rogue grazing the Oort would mimic a subhalo's effect. Unlike dark matter, rogues can glow faintly in the infrared. Surveys like WISE have searched. A few candidates exist, but none near enough to explain this pulse. Maybe it was too small to see, or passed by before WISE's era. Planet 9, a hypothesized super-Earth, could torque distant populations over tens of thousands of years, explaining certain trans-Neptunian alignments, but it likely resides on a stable, distant orbit, not strafing the Oort like an interloper. Its influence would be steady, not a sudden 2025 spike, unless the spike is just part of a long trend we've missed. Occam's razor pushes back. Invoking unseen masses adds entities without direct evidence. A more parsimonious view is selection effects, plus coincidence, plus natural variability. But parsimony isn't proof. Sometimes reality is strange. How would we test the dark perturber idea? Look for anomalous orbital energies and velocities inconsistent with known planetary perturbations. Monitor for microlensing, brief brightening of background stars by passing dark masses. Track residuals in outer solar system orbits, TNOs, distant centaurs, that accumulate over time. These are needle-in-haystack signals, but not impossible with current or near-future instruments. Bottom line, possible, not probable. A card to play only if conventional mechanisms fail and the pattern persists. Next comes the wildest shadow of all, the notion that Atlas isn't merely natural. Part 9. The artificial object angle, let's be clear, this is speculation. The sort of late-night thought experiment astronomers entertain after too much coffee. It's worth exploring only to understand why it tempts, and why it probably fails. Premise: what if Atlas isn't a typical comet? What if it's engineered? A probe or beacon designed to cross interstellar space and interact with planetary systems it encounters? What if its anomalous outgassing, odd chemistry, and possible self-emission are not accidents of formation, but features of design? We then ask purpose, reconnaissance, signaling, seeding, navigation, power, internal heat, radioisotopes, controlled vents, reflective metamaterials, predictions, non-gravitational accelerations with stable thrust profiles, spectral lines inconsistent with natural ices, light curve modulations indicative of structure, repeated outgassing cycles with engineered periodicity. Right now, the evidence is intriguing but ordinary. Odd ratios, CO2, H2O, 8.1, early water activity, unusual polarimetry, all explainable, rare formation environment, interstellar processing, unusual porosity, without invoking artifice. The artificial hypothesis demands extraordinary evidence, and we don't have it. Thank you guys, see you next video.